Hi guys, good to see everyone. Welcome Freddie Simo and Hot Scorpio Rogue. Good to see you guys. Tomorrow night you're going to put the video up. That's good. That'll give you time to kind of think about what you're going to answer and things like that. So I hope everyone's good. Yesterday I did some miscarriages of justice for Australia. Today I'm going to do USA. I've got 2 cases, just because they're not long, but you know I wouldn't be able to get through 5 in an hour. So sunny skies, first time here. Welcome, good to see you. So I'm going to do 2 miscarriages of justice cases today where people were arrested for a crime and then later exonerated. Or, Hot Scorpio Road. You can, if any trolls or anything come in, you can deal with them, basically. But usually this is a safe, happy place. And we don't get many trolls in here. So it's good there so far. Just finishing my cigarette. Welcome, Sonny. I hope you enjoy true crime. That's normally what I do. This year I've been dealing with my health, so I haven't done a lot. But slowly getting back into it and thinking of different lives to do. And everyone here is very loving and welcoming, and we don't deal with drama or bullshit here. So I hope everyone's happy with that. And I was just going to, just wait a couple of minutes, a couple of people come in, and then I'll start on this first case. A big hello to all who are supporting me, our friend. Thank you. It's nice to have people in, it's nice to talk, chat to people. Shine on, you're not late. I've only been going 7 minutes. It's alright, I haven't started yet. Sonny, you love true crime, hence why I wandered on over. Just got off Trilogy Media, so glad to support. Thank you. So I got into Trilogy Media because it's crime as well. So just, kind of a different one, different kind. But I'll cover everything, from murder to rapes to I don't know, fraud, every perjury, anything. So so I've added I've cleaned this up a bit, so hopefully I can drive it properly, because it's been a while since I've used OBS. But so I've got 2 cases from the USA today. So the first one is James Clay, and the next one is David Camp. Hot Scorpio Road. Yeah, this is my favourite caftan. I didn't think I would be an orange person, but it's got a feather on it. I lost one feather when I was on a cruise to Vanuatu, so it's floating in the ocean somewhere, but I'll get another one. Freddie Samo, you're trying to research more about a mysterious death of your sister-in-law's friend. It was the focus of a true crime show. She was murdered many years ago, and it's still a cold case. I'd love to look at it. If you want to email me some details about it, where I could go. Thanks, Shine On. Yeah, I feel a lot better. I'm getting there, it's not perfect at the moment. I'm still on the Pepsi, unfortunately, but I'll get there, progress, especially in 2021, hopefully. So, this first one is so interesting. It's from 1997 and it's James Chad Lewis Clay. So I'm just going to call him James Clay. And so on November 12th, 1997, a 15-year-old girl was sexually assaulted in an alley near Hayes Street and Harper Avenue in Detroit. And she said she was dragged into the alley at gunpoint and a cloth was put over her head and that she was raped. She had not seen her attacker before. The girl was taken to a hospital where a rape kit was prepared. The crime went unsolved. It was not until 2009, so like 13 years later, 12 years later, when the Detroit Police Department obtained a federal grant that the kit and more than 10,000 others were submitted for DNA testing, a process that took several years. Now, 20 years after the crime, in 2017, a DNA profile developed from the rape kit was linked to James Clay because his DNA profile was in the FBI's DNA database due to a prior conviction for possession of a stolen vehicle. Detroit police showed the rape victim, who is now in her 30s, a photographic lineup that included a photo of James Clay as an adult. She was unable to identify him. When police questioned James, he denied attacking the woman. When he was shown a recent photograph of the woman taken in 2015, 18 years after the attack, he denied knowing her. And he said he'd never seen her. Sorry, just switching back to your chat as we Yep. Yeah, Fred, if you can do that, I would love to look into it. I don't do a lot of cold cases, but that sounds interesting, and I'd love to help a squad member out if I can. James said he didn't know her. I never saw her a day in my life. When he was informed that his DNA had been identified in the rape kit, he became angry and said, "That's impossible. This is crazy. I never dated her. I don't know her." On August 4th, 2017, he was charged with first-degree criminal sexual conduct. Not long after, the woman learned that Clay's full name was James Chad Lewis Clay. She told police that she had a boyfriend in high school who she knew as Chad, and that they had been sexually involved at the time, so willingly, like boyfriend and girlfriend. She told the police that she met him through a friend named Dion, who was 5 feet 2 inches tall, had green eyes, and played on the high school basketball team. She said that she and Chad would often skip school and stay at Chad's aunt's house. She said she also had a scar on her arm. When police questioned James about the woman's statements, he said he lived with his mother and denied having sex with a girl with the woman's first name or a girl with a scar on her arm. He denied knowing anyone named Dion, and he said nothing about staying at his aunt's house, a fact he later attributed to being in shock because of the accusation. Now, during a court hearing prior to the trial, Clay suddenly recalled the woman and that they had had a sexual relationship in 1997. However, during the trial in 2017, the woman said she did not recall Clay or having consensual sex with him. So the prosecution presented the evidence that Clay's DNA was found in the rape kit. There was additional DNA present that was not identified due to the size of the sample. So there was a second sample there, but it was too small. And on November 12, 2017, based solely on the DNA evidence, the jury convicted Clay of first-degree criminal sexual conduct, and he was sentenced to 25 to 50 years in prison. Now, Clay's mother reached out to an investigator in Michigan to reinvestigate the case, and Crane obtained a photograph of Clay when he was a teenager and showed it to the victim. She identified the photograph as that of her boyfriend named Chad, with whom she had a consensual sexual relationship. When Crane showed her a photograph of Clay as an adult, she said that was the man who raped her, based on seeing him in court. Informed that the photos were of the same person, the woman subsequently provided a statement saying, "The James Clay that is in prison for my rape was my boyfriend in high school and went by the name Chad." I haven't the picture. There's only one picture, but like of the note, like it's cut off. But this is hey Jack Lucy bro, no trophy yet. Supposed to come tonight. Oh, actually no, it says delivered. It says delivered. Freddie Simos is still out. Yeah, so with this note, it says, like, you can't see it all, but it says to be known that the James Clay that is in prison for my rape was my boyfriend in high school, that had the name Chad. So she's finally remembered, or, you know, something like that. So the investigator also located Dion, who was the friend who had green eyes, and confirmed that he knew the victim and Chad. And he said he played basketball during high school, so that, you know, they corroborated that. Showing a photo of Clay as an adult, he identified it as Chad. When Crane provided the results of his investigation to Clay's appellate attorney, he declined to accept it or review it. And as a result, Crane reached out to the Michigan State Appellate Defender's Office, and subsequently an investigator from that office was assigned to work with Houston, the investigator. When Crane couldn't get anyone to indicate that they were moving forward on a review of the case, he passed his information to a reporter at the Detroit Free Press newspaper, and she began re-investigating the case. And on July 19th, 2019, so last year, she published a detailed account of the case that included interviews with a woman in which she confirmed what she told the investigator, as well as an interview with Dion, the friend. Clay's aunt told Anderson that she had a home near where the victim lived, and that Chad was in and out of my house all the time, so they corroborated that as well. A day earlier, the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office and Houston had filed joint motion with the Michigan Court of Appeals seeking to release Clay. A spokeswoman for the prosecutor's office said, "When we were informed by the Free Press of the identity issue in the case, the prosecutor's office immediately began an investigation. It should be completed in the near future." Sorry, the dog's knocking my camera there. "Based upon our findings so far, we have determined that it is in the best interests of justice to move the court to have Mr. Clay immediately released on personal recognizance bond until the investigation concludes." And on July 23rd, 2019, Clay was released from prison. On August 31st, 2019, Wayne County Circuit Court Judge Wanda Evans dismissed the case. So 25 to 50 year sentence. He'd served 1 year and 7 months. I'm just going to check my camera there. Sorry, the dog's gone and knocked it. Hang on. Don't knock my camera. Alright? No knocking things under the chair. So, here is the video of his release.
The words that can't even be explained. To be free from this nightmare is amazing. It's the best feeling to be able to go home to my children and my mother. I couldn't ask for more. God, answer prayers. It took for the media to get involved, to get this case resolved. If it wasn't for the media, I would have still been in prison.
So isn't that amazing that this guy had to go through all of this to, I mean, thank God he only had to serve 1 year and 7 months. Can you imagine 25 to 50 for something that he didn't do, but just that twist that they had been boyfriend and girlfriend at the time. Just reading your comments. 20 years, yeah, yeah. Hey Blaine, how you going? Welcome. Yeah, shocking. Absolutely shocking. Now, it's time for a cigarette after that shock. But like that's not even. I don't want to put them in like a category and go this is worse than this and that. But the next one, okay, email sent. I'll have to catch up on content later. Keep up the streams. Sure will. Thank you. I hope it came out alright. No, and you look at the compensation, Hot Scorpio Rogue, of that they give people, being in prison for 20, 30 years or whatever, and see some people get 2.4 million. One of the cases yesterday from Australia, I can't remember which one it was, but they'd been in prison for 20 years, they awarded them 2.4 million, and there was an article and he was saying 2.4 million is nowhere near enough to make up for losing 20 years of my life, because it just it's a lot of money, but losing 20 years of your life, you can't get that back. You can always make money, but you can't get back time, so MJ, oh thank you, lovely. What is my look, it's a little like ninja fox punching. I love it. That's how I'm feeling at the moment. Thank you. That is very, very kind of you. So, adding these videos and stuff that I edited last night, hopefully they're coming out all right to play for you. This is the second story. Now this is interesting because this is a triple murder with 2 suspects. Now this guy, David Cam, he was a state trooper for 13 years and he just retired. Let me just bring up the I'll let you know just the short of it, but there's some interesting videos here to watch. One with David Cam and the other one with the other suspect. So this comes from 2000 in Georgetown, Indiana, and it's the murder of David Cam's wife, Kim, and 2 children, Brad and Jill, and they were young. I think they were like 7 and 9 or something like that. He was sentenced to life in prison, and he served 13 years. And remember, he was previously a state trooper in Indiana. So the key evidence against him was testimony regarding blood splatter patterns on his t-shirt. I have to say something here first. If it's everyone understand voir dire, It means to speak the truth in court. So it's used on jurors to choose a jury pool from a jury pool. They go through voir dire and ask them all of the different questions. It's also used for experts testifying either for the prosecution or the defence. Which is why, if you've ever watched a court trial, they'll ask them, where have you worked? How long have you worked there for? How many, how many autopsies have you done, for example, etc., etc., to voir dire, to tell the truth that they are qualified to testify. In this case, it was later discovered that one of the key prosecution witnesses, a blood spatter analyst whose findings had triggered the arrest, had falsified his credentials. Get this. He testified at trial that he was a college professor in the process of getting his PhD, and it was later uncovered that he had no affiliation to the university, had no training in blood spatter or crime scene analysis, and had never worked a single case prior to the Cam family murders. In 2013, 13 years after the crime, he testified for the defence, explaining that he worked as an office assistant for a crime scene analyst and had been sent to the crime scene to take photos when he began voicing his opinions on the evidence. He claims the prosecutor fabricated the credentials for the trial. That in itself would, to me, require a retrial. And this guy, David Cam, indeed did go through not one, not two, but three, excuse my notifications, 3 trials this guy went through. It's absolutely crazy. Just back to the chat for a moment there. It's unbelievable. Jack Lisa, bro, you're still here. Yay! Can you? It's unbelievable. That's what's happening in the Scott Peterson case. And this is why he's going to do a retrial. I've got all the videos actually there if you want to watch them. As to his appellate, because he didn't get a fair trial. For many, many reasons. Jury issues, publicity, all of this kind of thing. MJ, yeah, 3 trials. So, I'll try and go into that a little bit. But they were... I'm not too sure. I'm getting to that part. And I think I'll play the videos from Cam and the other suspect after this information. I won't play David Cam's just yet, because you kind of need well, not the full story, but you kind of need the I'm just back here, like the rest of it. So a new suspect emerged when the defense compelled the prosecution to run DNA evidence found on a sweatshirt on the floor of the crime scene. It was under the wife, Kim, through CODIS, which I think you guys all know is the national database for DNA. If, you know, if anyone's had a DNA test, they go into that database. So they asked them to run it through CODIS a second time. It was discovered that the DNA was never run through a CODIS despite the fact, well, a second time, but it was, yeah, they're saying that it was never run through CODIS despite the fact that the prosecutor had assured Cam's defense team that it had been run and it returned no matches. So he lied. It hadn't been run through CODIS. This was the first time when they're thinking it's the second time it's been run through. The sweatshirt contained the DNA, prison nickname, and Department of Corrections number of Charles Bonnet, a convicted felon with a history of stalking and attacking women. He was on parole at the time for the attempted kidnapping of several college students from their apartments. Investigators looked for Cam's DNA on the sweatshirt, but failed to investigate any other leads. So David's DNA wasn't even on that sweatshirt. Bonnet's was. A DNA analyst who worked on the case filed a complaint alleging that the prosecutor attempted to get her to testify that the foreign DNA sample was Cam's DNA. This prosecutor was dodgy. A fingerprint analyst who found Bonnet's prints testified to a similar interaction. The prosecutor asked him to say that the prints were David's. The prosecutor was later discovered to be Bonnet's defense attorney as well as a personal family friend. And they admitted discussing the case prior to Bonnet becoming a suspect. Faith asserts this is coincidental. This is the prosecutor. He asserted that this is coincidental and he did not know Bonnet was involved. How dodgy is this prosecutor? The going through the trials is long, but I can, if you want, I can go through and see, like, just quickly if they were you came back for me. Oh, thank you. It does show the importance of a full investigation. This one just blew my mind when I saw it. So this is the this is some interview with David Cam. He refused for so long because he had 3 trials. I guess if no matter if they were mistrials or hung juries or whatever, he got out on bond in between them. So he was kind of like, he was jailed, but like in that 13 years of jailing, I think he was freed because he was doing this interview prior to his 3rd trial.
I mean, I've always had hope. I've always believed, ultimately, that the truth would prevail. We find strength in that. I've always believed on the issues that we've raised that have caused these reversals, that we were right. So, you know, you just, it's really a survival mode. I used the word betrayal earlier. You know, some of these people they were family. Brothers, sisters, who loved them. Would have done anything for them. And the one moment in my life where I needed somebody to do something for me, yeah, they turned their backs on me.
Absolutely, there are no coincidences. Hi Valerie, good to see you. Good to see you. Hello. Yeah, just talking about this second case. So this guy was a state trooper for 13 years. He had just retired, and he was convicted of murdering his wife and 2 young children. And then the blood spatter analysis falsified his credentials. He didn't have any experience at all, which is what had led to the arrest of David Cam, pictured. Just a brief update for you, Valerie. And so then there was a bloody sweatshirt under Kim, his wife, and they ran it through CODIS. They thought it had been run once through CODIS already, but the prosecution lied. They hadn't run it, and when it came back to a Charles Bonet, who had been out at the time of the murders, which was September 28th, 2000, I think. And the prosecutor tried to get the DNA specialist and a fingerprint analyst to lie and say that the print and the DNA was David Cam's. And it turns out that the other suspect, Bonet, was a friend of the prosecution's family and was actually, that prosecutor was his defense attorney. So he worked both sides, prosecution and defense. So there are theories of the crime. They had a first theory, a second theory. So the case went to trial in 2002 with the blood spatter as the main forensic evidence. And just as I said, the expert had no qualifications. He falsified everything. He had never even done a case. The prosecution argued that the bloodstains on Cam's shirt were the result of high-velocity impact spatter, proving he was the shooter. And the defense said that it was caused by transfer when his shirt came in contact with Jill's hair as he was removing his son from the vehicle. In August 2004, Indiana Court of Appeals overturned the conviction because the court cited the trial judge's decision to allow testimony from a dozen women who claimed they had affairs with Cam or had been propositioned by him, which unfairly biased the jury because the prosecutor did not adequately connect those relationships with the murders. We saw this in the Justin Ross Harris trial, who left his baby in the car. He was sexting and stuff with other women, and that really biased him. And I'm gonna go into that case because I actually believe that he's innocent, but he was convicted of purposefully murdering and leaving his child in a hot car for 10 hours. And so in 2004, they refiled charges against him. And then was the discovery of Bonet. And then the second trial, Bonet was arrested in 2005, and they were both charged as co-conspirators in the murder of Kim and the kids. Bonet was tried first, convicted and sentenced to 225 years in prison. Now I'm going to play his interview at the end of this, see what you think. It's interesting. I've cut it to about 4 minutes. So his second trial began in 2006, and the affairs are now inadmissible in court. Now the prosecution is arguing that Cam was molesting their daughter and he killed his family to cover up the crime. He was convicted a second time and was sentenced to life without parole. He appealed the conviction, and the Supreme Court granted a second reversal, stating, "Missing from the record is any competent evidence of the premise that the defendant molested the child." Then he had the third trial, and the interview that you saw was after the second trial but before the third trial. This time, sorry, I have to switch back and forth here. I always go to the wrong page. Yeah, it is crazy. Crazy. Okay, Valerie, have a good day. Night, I mean. Bring me back up. This one, yeah, it just blew my mind. Okay, so then he goes to a third trial. This time, the prosecution says that it was the life insurance policies that he wanted that were purchased by Kim. And in the third trial, the second suspect, Bonet, testified against David Cam for the first time, accusing him of luring him out to the home before shooting his own family and then turning the gun on him. And when we talked about that DNA evidence being run through CODIS, the third trial saw the introduction of that DNA evidence that wasn't presented in the first two trials. And there was a doctor who testified he found touch DNA consistent with Bonet in several places on the clothing of both Kim and Jill, which is the daughter. Bonet's DNA was found on Kim Cam's panties, underwear, the arm of her shirt, above abrasion on her arm, thought to be the result of a struggle, on Kim's broken off fingernail, and on the stomach of Jill Cam's shirt. Bonet's DNA was on all of those places. These results seemed to discredit Boney's assertion that he had never touched the victims. Defense counsel argued that if Bonet physically attacked the family, which the DNA seems to suggest, it is unlikely that David is the shooter. And on October 24th, 2013, a jury found Cam not guilty of all charges and he was acquitted. And NBC News reported that costs for those three trials had reached an estimated $4.5 million. This just... See you, Jack Lucy, bro. Oh, you're not going? Oh, you're saying bye to Valerie. Right. Cool. So this just blows my mind. Now, I'm going to finish this live with the video of Bonet. Now, remember, he was convicted as a co-conspirator with David Cam, pictured, and got 225 years. And he decided to do an interview from prison. So I've cut it down to about 4 minutes, but you'll find this very interesting.
There's a lot of people that have wanted the worst for me in this case. I'm a little emotional right now, but I can talk about those things.
Interview that I'm doing isn't about me at all. I don't want anyone to think, oh, he's painting a picture of himself that's better than what we think of him, or he's trying to gain favor with the public opinion or whatever. It's about my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. I really wish I could go back in time, but I don't regret the time that I have. I wouldn't change it because it's made me better. It's helped me grow. We're clearly both there, and one of us is the killer. David Cam is the killer. I didn't tell the truth about everything because I wanted to stay completely out of the mix. As I told them the truths about the story, they didn't believe it. At the end of the day, I've told, I think, altogether like 5 different versions. On September 28th, I took a second untraceable weapon to the Cam residence. David Cam showed up. We were talking outside of his house. His wife, Kim Cam, and the 2 children, Brad and Jill, pulled up in I believe it was a black Bronco, and then he went into the garage, and then I heard arguing, and I heard a no, and then I heard a daddy no, and then I heard pop, pop, pop. My sweatshirt was not tucked under his son. He staged that. Kim Cam, his wife, was not undressed at all. I learned from television and in my discovery that someone had removed her pants. Once I went in after David Cam, after he tried to fire a shot at me, I ran in after him. I remember tripping over shoes. I remember touching things, and I just figured he was probably getting a weapon. And at the time, I didn't have my own weapon with me, so I beat feet. I got out of there. I'm clearly an African American, and I do believe that. I think race played a big part. At the end of the day, David Cam has to answer to God. People get away with stuff all the time. I work on my case absolutely every day. There's no days off. I will be out one day. I might be 80. I might be 75, 60, who knows? 225 years is not in my future. The good Lord has something else planned. He has something in store for me. There's not a day that goes by that I don't think about the case. I don't have victims because I'm not the one that pulled the trigger. So I don't feel responsible for anyone's deaths. I want to make that very clear. He's out there with you. He's out there to date anyone he wants. I think he'll kill again. And like I said, I'm not responsible for their actual deaths, but I am responsible in the fact that I didn't do anything about it. I went to sell this guy a gun and he killed his entire family. I just came from there. I need help. I know I got to go back to prison, but so what? It would have been a very different story. In fact, I'd be just now getting out of prison. Some people are a little less forgiving than others. I mean, look what they did to my buddy Pete Rose. He just gambled a little bit and they kept him out of the Hall of Fame. Look how innocent that is. This is a murder case. 2 beautiful children and their beautiful mom. Way bigger than gambling or something like that. So I don't expect people to be forgiving and to look past me and think, oh, he's a great guy. Yeah, let's write him or whatever. It's not going to be that easy. But then again, I'm not looking for it either. All I'm trying to do is impress my Lord and Savior. That's all that matters. And no, it's not an act.
So what does everyone think about that? There is heaps more to that interview. I can't remember the website. I'll have to link it after the video if you want to watch. There's like 5 parts. There's like he has this foot fetish and all of this weird stuff going on. But my reaction to that video was the audacity of you. It's like his DNA is all over the mother and the daughter and on the panties, so it could have been sexual assault as well. And you know, just putting this all on God. I'm not making this about religion or anything like that, or race, but just, you know, he literally said it wasn't in that, but he literally said, I don't want to play the race card, but I'm a black man in a predominantly white society. So that, yeah, he's just content, and maybe he is just, over the years, maybe he believes it. Do you know what I mean? Like, maybe he doesn't think he's lying. Maybe he actually believes he didn't do it. I'm like, come on now. Yeah, me too, Freddie Simo. I feel creeped out by it as well. Like, I know a lot of prisoners have come to Jesus moments, you know. Chris Watts, for example. Apparently he's found God. And I find it creepy and that it's allowed that he has a picture, not Chris Watts, Bonet, has a picture of Kim and the kids in his cell. Remember, there was a big uproar because Chris Watts had a picture of his family that he killed in his cell, you know, and it wasn't treated as contraband. Delusion, MJ, exactly. I think he might actually believe that he is innocent, but he got 225 years. He's not going anywhere. And poor David Cam, what he went through, is just horrible. And in that clip that I played earlier, he was crying because of the betrayal of some of his ex-fellow troopers, because he was a state trooper for 13 years, and they just turned their back on him, you know? It was just so sad. I mean, I'm glad he's out, but he's lost 13 years of his life. And it was just such a sad case. I had to include it, you know? So, Jack Lissy, bro, I think it's just not clear enough for me to judge. I wasn't there, and we just have to rely on the evidence and a jury and go from there. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they went through 3 trials. They had a different motive for each one, you know. The second one was molestation. The first one was life insurance. The third one was life insurance policies, you know, etc., etc. And just none. The first one was blood spatter. None of it stuck. But you know, DNA doesn't lie. The science doesn't lie. So, you know, Hot Scorpio Rogue, no, I think he knows exactly what he is doing. He knows he's playing the god and race card, in my opinion. Yeah, to be fair, it seems that way. Just by what he is saying. Freddie Simo, you talked to your sister-in-law. It turns out there was an arrest in the murder of her friend and the suspect was sentenced to 33 years. Not a great sentence, is it? We talked yesterday about Australian sentences being so bad, you know, like 12 years for murder and things like that. Sorry, I think that might have been the postie. But, yeah, just shocking. So, I hope you enjoyed that, guys. Enjoy is probably not the right word, but I hope there was some enlightenment there. Tomorrow, I'm thinking about just doing a general chat, taking a little break from little breaks in there from the true crime. Do it in between the trilogy streams, the Dexter's morning stream and then the afternoon stream. To be around about then, and then I'll come back later in the week with a couple more cases. If you guys enjoy this kind of content, or if you want me to do something else, just put a comment in the comment section below. So, oh good, I'm glad you enjoyed it. It's hard to come up with ideas, but I think this one is a good one. And I'll look at different countries and that, but these two just really stuck out for me today, stood out. So, thank you for coming in, everybody. Yes, make sure to stop by Freddie Simo's channel and ask some questions for him to answer tomorrow night. I've already asked some. I think I popped in there earlier. I think Hot Scorpio Rogues asked some good questions. And that, let me just grab the link for you again. I'll give it the link to the actual video itself, not the channel. So if you go to this video and then comment at the bottom, ask Freddie some questions. Could be anything. He's a new YouTuber and he's going to do a Q&A tomorrow night. So he can't go live yet, so it'll be an edited video or recorded video. Now you're making me do math. Okay, Jack Lucy Blow. My bitch. What are we looking at tomorrow? I got to add. Okay, 9. So it's 3 a.m. my time for Dexter. Oh gosh, that would mean I would have to be up and then 7. So it would have to be, and if he went till 5, I could do 6 a.m. So that would be midday PT. Off the top of my head. That was just really quick math. Honey Badger, yeah, you did, but you'll be able to watch the replay, honey. I've done 2 US cases of miscarriages of justice. But yeah, I think usually these lives are going to be about 45 minutes to an hour. Yeah, so I think if I can get up at 6, yeah, I could probably do a live then, but I'll have to work it out. It's hard, but like you never know when trilogy's gonna end, so but I'll see how I go for tomorrow. Otherwise I might do one. I could do one afterwards, but then it starts getting a little bit late Eastern time. But thank you for coming in, guys, and thank you again, MJ, for the super sticker. That was lovely of you. Thank you. And I hopefully will see you guys tomorrow.